What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to G-Ball Vision. Thank you for stopping in. Today we have an exciting unboxing to dig into. Before we get started, double check and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I'd love to have you here. And before you head out, do me a huge favor, hit that thumbs up button. Greatly appreciate everyone. It really helps push the video out there so more people have a chance to check it out. And feel free to let me know what you're carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. Love hearing from you guys. Huge shout out to Kizer for sending this in for us to take a look at. This is not a brand new model, but this is something I've never checked out before. Looks like somebody got hungry there on the corner, but you can tell by the sleeve and the magnetic closure here, this is going to be more out of their premium line. So we have our paperwork and our microfiber cloth here up top. We have a pouch. We have extra hardware and an extra clip in there. That might be a left-hand clip or just an extra one. I'm not sure. Then we have a couple of stickers in there. Awesome, awesome packaging from Kizer. And here we go, guys. I'm stoked because I've heard nothing but awesome things about this knife, and I can't wait to see what I think of it. So what we have is the Kizer Sparrow. So I'm not familiar with the designer of this knife. Vincent Rizzo, I think, is the designer's name. If I butcher that, sorry. But I haven't heard of him, but this knife looks extremely enticing. It's one I haven't got to get my hands on yet, but this thing is right up my alley as far as the blade shape, the materials, the aesthetic. And like I said, I've heard nothing but good things about this knife. I know some people have taken it upon themselves to remove the flipper and just go with the cutout, which is cool. But I'll probably ultimately keep the flipper because even now this is definitely cementing it for me, but it's a very minimal flipper tab. So just a nice little push button style of flipper tab. Want to make sure you're not on the lock bar when you do it. I would say it's definitely tuned more for the cutout, but because of the way it's tuned, you can easily thumb flick this thing out. So I can see why people removed that flipper. It doesn't pow out of there the way it's designed, I guess. Let's see here. So if you do the kind of push button light switch combo, like the push down and in, it does kind of come out decently. But well, yeah, it comes out pretty good. Not crazy though. It's not like, oh, that's really satisfying. But the thumb flick and the reverse flick off this half moon cutout is really nice. We should be dealing with S35, I'm going to guess. Blackbird blades, and then there you can see the Sparrow. And on this side, we can see there, possibly, S35 VN. And we have that beautiful stonewash there on the blade. Look at that camera, just putting in the work, baby. And then we might as well take a close-up of that handle. Would you just look at it? Just look at it, guys. Yeah. It looks really good. Nice tumbled finish on the blade. And then we have a blasted finish on the handle, the pocket clip, and the back spacer. We have some internal milling in there for weight relief. You can see them nice deep pockets in there. Good access to the lock bar with a nice big chamfer on there. Really good. Really, really nice. It's not too much. It's perfect. The only thing that would have made this even better is if they put some like fine jimps in there. But it's perfect as it sits. We have that sheep split blade, going to be a true workhorse for utility and just EDC tasks in general. This has a good feel in hand too. I was initially worried that this might be too small. I haven't seen a lot of videos on it. Not really any. I've seen photos and maybe like a quick video on it, possibly. But I always thought, just from the photos, I never looked at any specs either. I just thought maybe this would be too small, but it's actually a perfect size for like a secondary, and I could see this even working up into that primary area as well. Let's get our issuing stitches Hank out here and see what this looks like in the pocket. I'm going to guess that other clip is a left-hand clip because of the way this is angled. That's what I'm going to guess. Let me know down in the comments if you know the answer to that. Does have really good retention going in. It's going to run fairly close to a standard clip. You're going to have a standard milled clip. You're going to have a little bit poking out of the pocket there. But we're still looking at a 1/2 inch or under, which is perfectly acceptable. That's going to give us a nice amount of surface area to grab this thing, pull it out of the pocket, and get to work. But that has great retention on the clip there, and I really like the design of that clip. You have a single torque screw there. Very simple on the hardware. We have a non-tooled pivot. We have a nice clean filler tab. Great job. And then just 2 body screws. And then we have our tooled pivot, 2 body screws, and our pocket clip screw. And that's going to be recessed. For anyone wondering, that's not going to move around on you. The pocket clip is going to be recessed within the scale. So that single torque screw is going to do the job along with it being recessed in there. Why don't we see what kind of edge they put on the Sparrow? So here we go with our fresh telephone book paper here. Oh, that is spicy. Spicy and slicey. Yeah, very nice edge. Yeah, buttery. Ooh. That's really clean. Very nice. Okay. I was thinking, I don't know why, I was thinking it wasn't going to cut that well, but I know I've seen some people get theirs reground, which all that customization, mods, that's all in fun. You know, whatever the person, the end user, the person who spent their money on the knife, whatever they want to do, that is awesome. I tend to keep my knives pretty much the way they come. If I don't like it the way that it comes, now there's times I'll do some stuff because I really like the knife. You know, I'll add a clip or maybe I'll add some scales. But typically I don't do a ton of that. But that's just me and my personality, I guess. But I do spice up some knives. But I tend to like it when they come really good, you know, all the way around, tip to butt. And I don't need to change anything, but I just want to change, you know, maybe the pocket clip or the scales type of a deal. Maybe I'm weird, I don't know. But the action on this thing, going back to that, is really solid on the cutout there. And then the closing action is really good. I mean, the flipper is not bad. If you're not an action detent like drama queen, it's going to be just fine. Especially if you give it just a tiny bit of momentum or wrist, it's going to come flying out of there. But, you know, when you sit here and, you know, act like a drama queen over the detent, as a lot of us do, which is fine. I want good action as well. But being able to set aside the difference, okay, we have a flipper and a cutout. The flipper isn't the greatest, and I see this all the time, where the studs or the cutout is phenomenal, and the flipper tab, front or rear, is not the best. It works, it's just not as satisfying as you would hope it would be, or that it should be, whatever the case. It's hard to get these knives, I think. I mean, that's the conclusion I've come to. It happens a lot where everything is tuned well and the detent is pretty strong. But in the case of this knife, I think if the detent was stronger, you wouldn't be able to thumb flick this out the way that you can. So, you know, you could probably strengthen it up a little bit by, you know, of course, bending that lock bar in a little bit, incrementally, very small, but you're going to probably gain some detent strength on that flipper, but you're going to ultimately increase that strength and make it a little tougher to open via the cutout. So you'll have to kind of decide on what you want, and it makes total sense now to me because it is so minimal. And it's not the stop pin. There's no stop pin that is the flipper is using or anything like that. So the ability to just kind of shave that off, grind that off, and be done with it would be no problem at all. I guess you'd want it to be pretty clean because you will see that here. You basically could almost make a full finger choil out of there, very close at least. If you remove that properly, which I wouldn't be able to do myself and not screw it up. I could grind it off there, but it would look like crap after I'm done. There's no detent lash, which is good. It's actually got a nice detent. I gotta pull it out of there to get it out. It's got a pretty good detent. There's no pivot lashing in there. A easy opening lockup. There's no movement up or down. And boy, there's no movement side to side either. That's locked up pretty damn good. And I'd say that's sitting at about 30%, 35%, somewhere in that ballpark. And as I continue opening and closing this thing keeps getting smoother and smoother. Kizer has the action department nailed down when it comes to all of their knives, whether we're talking $40 knives or their $200 knives. They have it nailed down. Do they have the lockup and lock face geometry nailed down? We're about to find out. It's been a long time since I've had a knife fail of any kind, and we're still at the same point we was for the people who've been following along for months now, or even longer. The last knife to fail was a knife that we fixed and no longer fails. The Remet Rhino, I think it was, their button lock. That was the last knife that failed, and we were able to fix it. I realized that there are times where if it has any type of coating, a lot of times that can either get on the tang or the lock face and cause that lock to slip. And it's not just frame locks or liner locks. That can be almost any lock, a plunge lock, a crossbar lock. If there's coating that gets on there, that can make that slip on the lock face. In the case of this one, it's stone washed, there is no coating, and it's locking up rock solid. But even knives, I've had a lot of coated knives come in recently, and all of them are solid. Button locks, crossbar locks, frame locks, liner locks, everything has been solid. So it's awesome to see. I test every single knife that comes across my table, and 90% of them are done in the unboxing. There are times I forget or I just don't intend on doing it in the unboxing. I intend to do it in the overview, but that is far and few between. That may be a much more expensive knife that I want a little bit of time with. Say I get a $300-400 knife. I might not do that in the unboxing. Now, usually I do, but there are times I don't. But for the most part, like I said, 90-95% of the time, I'm testing these knives right out of the box. I want to know what's up with the knife. Is it good to go? Does it need something? Does it need returned? You know, what's the deal with the knife? You guys will have to let me know. What do you think of the Kizer Sparrow here? I love hearing from you guys. Let me know if you have one of these or if you intend on getting one of these, because it's a damn good knife based on my early impressions with this knife. Now, that can be said about a lot of Kizer. So nothing really new here. If this is your style, you like the blade shape, you like the size, it's a Kizer. It's a premium Kizer. It's going to be good. It's going to get the job done. S35 and titanium. It's probably going to be very well priced. So it's really hard to go wrong with Kizer, and they have phenomenal customer service. So, you know, it's kind of a win-win situation either which way you look at it, especially if you like the design. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Always appreciate that, everyone. If you're new here, we release videos just like this one every single day. Hit that subscribe button. Ring the little bell. I'd love to have you here. Otherwise, guys, I'll throw up a couple of new videos. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.